on 6. This is breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Craig Day. On day 5 of the teacher walkout, boy, a lot is happening right now at the state capitol in the push to increase education funding. The state Senate has approved 2 bills today generating $40 million. Now they're reconsidering the hotel motel tax, and I understand they just made a decision. So let's go to News on 6's Emery Bryan to begin our team coverage. Emery?
Craig, that's right. They just now did vote to repeal the hotel motel lodging tax. That is a $50 million gap in funding that was approved last week during the teacher pay raise. And now the teachers are rallying. They're chanting, they just started chanting, "See you Monday," because this is a huge disappointment for them, because some of the funding that was approved last week to pay for these teacher pay raises has now been repealed. $50 million worth. They did do an offset of 2 other bills that will bring in some more money. The Amazon tax and the gambling expansion, those 2 would bring in about $42 million. But now they've also created a $50 million hole in the budget by pulling back on this hotel motel lodging tax. That was not unexpected. The teachers union was against it. They have now, just in the last few minutes, repeated their demand that this extra money, this $100 million, has to come in before they will end this walkout. So they are saying they will certainly see you Monday. And as we know, many large school districts have started calling off classes now, expecting this protest to continue into next week. Greg, back to you.
All right, Emery Bryan live at the state capitol. Again, a lot is happening and is happening quickly, so Emery will keep us posted on that. News on 6's Terry Hood is outside the state capitol with more of our team coverage. Terry?
Craig, that is a bitter disappointment for the teachers out here. They were pretty jubilant this morning after the 2 bills did pass the state Senate, upping some money. But even then, they really had their eye on the capital gains tax. As a matter of fact, if we could take that video, you can see teachers spelling out their demands. Capital gains. What they want is to close a loophole. And it's estimated that just by doing that, they could raise $120 million. Now, a couple of state representatives, both Democrats, Forrest Bennett and Scott Inman, came out and talked to. Okay, let's go to Alicia Priest now, OEA president.
A few of these mic checks. All right, so the Senate just repealed hotel motel tax, which puts us further in the hole in funding, and we are calling for the governor to veto that repeal, and for the House to put capital gains tax on and pass that. And those things will allow for the walkout to end. So if the governor vetoes hotel motel and we pass capital gains, those votes have the power to end this walkout.
Both of those are required.
Yes, we must have the funding. You know, it's not new news. Textbooks older than the kids using them, being held together by duct tape and a wish that they don't fall apart one more time because the teachers don't know how they're going to put them back together. Classes, coursework that's been cut, funding sources cut over 28% in the last 10 years. We cannot sustain that type of funding in our schools and not expect there to be problems for the future. We must have core curriculum. We must have fine arts, PE, music, drama, world languages. I talked to a student the other day who took Spanish 1 year, then they didn't have Spanish 2 the next year, so it was a year gap in between language learning. That's not appropriate for kids. We must do better.
This is the first time I've heard you guys say that past this will end. Why is this coming on day 5?
Well, we've always shown a roadmap forward, and the legislature has had all the opportunities to make the votes, to pass the funding. Everything is in their corner, and so Our members need to see a way forward, and after talking to thousands and thousands of people who have been here, they believe that this is the way forward. So that's why we're doing this.
The Senate has said that they're not.
That's OEA President Alicia Priest once again throwing down the gauntlet, telling legislators they want them to enact
that was just created by repealing it and move forward. So so passing both of those things, they can do a supplemental trailer or whatever. They're the ones that know these things. I'm a Spanish teacher, but they can make maneuvers to make it happen and not have to totally redo the appropriations budget for education.
Will we see as many teachers here on Monday, or will there be issues with some of the other?
We absolutely expect there to be as many teachers here Monday and Tuesday if necessary, and Wednesday and Thursday.
What do you think about other groups like the Time Is Now, like the Harlesville group, setting up their own list of demands? Do you think that's confusing for the teachers knowing what they're fighting for?
All of the teachers that we talked to said that this was the path that they needed to move forward. If you didn't see it happen out on the front lawn, maybe it was the north side, I don't know, where they spelled out capital gains. I mean, this is serious. This is what they want.
Alicia, have you been meeting with the governor, Republican leaders in the House and Senate, and if not, why not?
We've been meeting with all kinds of folks here, and so have the teachers and support professionals, parents, community members that have been here.
High-level negotiations between you and the actual shot callers.
We have been talking, yes.
What kinds of discussions have you had with your members? Because you said this decision comes from your members. So what have they said to you?
We're a member-driven organization, and so we're always talking to our members. And so these things were part of the roadmap that we put forth earlier, and but we like, you know, the legislature doesn't like to be told what to do, and so we presented them, gave them opportunities, and now it's time for them to act on something so that we can get on with going back to school if that's what it takes, or knowing that we're going to be here longer.
So if they repeal the capital gains tax, would you need that money dedicated to education, or are you okay if they repeal the originals?
We need funding for public education, and we need to fund our core services. We're not going to be pit against one another.
So to be clear, is it both capital gains and the governor
vetoing the repeal of the hotel? That is correct.
And what
yes.
does that final number work out to, do you think?
About 150 million.
So a lot of lawmakers have said that there was never a hole left by the repeal of the hotel motel tax, that it was fully funded to begin with because there was some wiggle room from the beginning. Have you guys verified that? Because I've heard that over and over and over again.
Well, when you pass a funding measure, and then there is that signifies that you're moving a certain direction toward funding different things, and then you remove that funding, in our opinion, that's a hole.
Have you guys double-checked this? Have you fact-checked this? Because I mean, I've heard it from
fact check, yes.
I've heard it from Senator Treat. I've heard it from other high-level education officials.
Yes.
Alicia, you say you talked to had these negotiations. What is your sense about the House's willingness or ability to pass that capital gains?
From the messages we have from our members who have talked to their legislators, they think that if it's if we put it on the House floor, that it will pass.
So you said you didn't want to put yourself up against other core services, but how much of the capital gains revenue would have to be going to public ed? I mean, if they pass this through, but none of it's dedicated to public education, is that good enough, or what kind of ratio do you need?
The reality is that we all need funding because of the cuts to all services. We're here asking for funding for education because investing in education is investing in the economic future of our state. So we must fund our children's future.
So what you're asking for 100% of the capital gains for education?
I'm saying that we need the repeal of the hotel motel, a veto of the hotel motel repeal, and we need to pass capital gains in order for the walkout to end.
So what portion of capital gains for education?
I'm not.
What would you?
So we need funding for public education, as well as our core services. We all must work together to get this done.
So the walkout would end if the hotel, if she vetoes it and capital gains passes, but not another dime goes to the student funding formula. The walkout would still end if those two things happen, but no more money goes to the classroom. The teachers out there are expecting that.
I don't think that that's it at all. I think that we have to get them passed and work on getting funding to public education.
When? Because again, today on the Senate floor, many lawmakers have said, you know, the education budget is passed for this year and it's not going to change this year. It could likely increase next year and the following fiscal years, but this year is done. I mean, is that okay if they say that yes, in the future the money will go to education, but it's not going to change this year?
We will continue to advocate for funding public education and filling the hole that the legislature has made over the last 10 years, 28% cuts to our schools, and so that's what we're advocating for, and that's really all I have to say about that.
Alicia, the lawmakers probably won't be here, but will representatives from the OEA, or have you heard of teachers coming here this weekend just for demonstration purposes?
They're going to be doing back home activities. Many of them have set up meetings back home with their lawmakers or activities back home on Main Street, and so that's going to be continuing this weekend.
Alicia, we came in toward the end. Tell me your overall feeling about today and just what we've seen happen.
Well, so the ball and dice passing and the Amazon tax passing are great strides. However, they took away the hotel motel, and so that brings us back a little bit. So we're asking for a veto of the repeal of the hotel motel and passage of capital gains.
Have you been able to get that message to Governor Fallon yet, Alicia?
She's out of state at a at a STEM convention right now speaking. So.
You're asking your teachers to stay the course, and from what we're hearing,
our teachers have asked us to stay the course. Sure. We are driven by our members, and we are staying the course. We'll be here Monday, we'll be here Tuesday in order to get this done.
Alicia, forgive me if you've already addressed this. We spoke with the House Majority Floor Leader John Echols earlier this week, and he told us capital gains is not moving forward this session. Same. That being said, you're saying without capital gains, the walkout will still continue. What happens if it really doesn't go for this session? Do you really expect the walkout just go through into the summer?
There's an accountability. I don't have a crystal ball to know how long that will happen, but what we're saying is until capital gains gets put for a vote and is passed, or the equivalent for funding is passed, then our members want to be here, and they expect the legislators to listen to them. When you have 30,000, 40,000 constituents here a day for a week and you don't listen to them, who are you listening to? You know, if people from your own hometowns are marching on main streets, are coming to the Capitol, are setting up weekend appointments with you, are coming relentlessly asking for something, and you're not representing them, who are you representing? Who are you representing? So that's the real question for us. Amanda?
How about state testing? Are you guys concerned about that right now?
That's a good question. There are many that have written to Superintendent Hoffmeister asking for an extension of that testing window. There are others that are putting supports in place back home. So that is a community decision.
Alicia, I'm sorry if you've addressed this already, but passage of House Bill for Ball and Dice, a lot of people have been thinking that that money is going towards education. However, that's a hypothetical number that has not been booked down by the tax commission, and so there's no money going into the education budget, no additional revenue from the Ball and Dice gaming bill that was just passed today that's outset for the next year. So there's a lot of confusion among OEA members and teachers and educators here in the Capitol by OEAs pushing for the Ball and Dice bill, to which even many legislators on the floor today said that it could actually hurt the state in the long run when it comes to renegotiating tribal compacts.
So from the information that I have, the renegotiation of tribal compacts has nothing to do with the Ball and Dice, and the fact is 88% of the funding that goes through Ball and Dice will go into the 1017 fund. That will help education. That moves us in a path forward to funding education, and so that's where that is.
I talked to Catherine Bishop yesterday, and she told me that if lawmakers passed Ball and Dice and Amazon tax today, it would be close. Asking lawmakers to now pass capital gains and asking the governor to repeal hotel motel, that's not close.
It became not so close when they repealed hotel motel.
But didn't you know they were going to repeal that?
No, we didn't. Until the votes are taken, you don't know for sure what's going to happen.
So can you clarify, we didn't really get a clear answer on the allocation of the capital gains, and if you don't tell us, what you're demanding, we're going to have to go to our viewers and readers and say the demands are. Can you please specify?
We're calling on the veto of the repeal of the hotel motel tax and the passage of the capital gains.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you.
That's OEA President Alicia Priest laying down the gauntlet, saying for this walkout to end, the legislature is going to need to reinstate the hotel motel tax and pass capital gains. Lots of teachers are heading out now, disappointed with this final defeat, but everyone we've talked to is vowing they'll be back on Monday. And Craig, I understand schools already out in Tulsa, Union, and Broken Arrow for Monday. Back to you.
Yeah, Terry, thank you very much. Great job there in Oklahoma City. Things changing up to the minute. A number of schools in our area are canceling classes for Monday, and we will add that information to the bottom of your screen and, of course, on our News on 6 app as we get them. Now back to regular programming.